Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another installment in our spatial webinar series. This session's topic is creating a pathway for ArcGIS Desktop to ArcGIS Pro migration. My name is Camicia Blackwood, and I'm thrilled to have you all here today. Today, we will be exploring the significant differences between ArcGIS Desktop and ArcGIS Pro. If you have been considering a transition or are already in the process, you are in the right place. As many of you know, the world of GIS is consistently evolving. And with the transition from ArcGIS Desktop to ArcGIS Pro, we have an incredible opportunity to enhance our workflows and capabilities. Today, we will delve into strategies that will make this transition not just seamless, but also beneficial to your projects and organizations. In the next hour, Lionel Grant, GIS Solutions Specialist at Spatial Innovation Limited, will share valuable strategies to help you adapt your workflows smoothly, ensuring that your upgrade is as seamless as possible. He will explore key differences between these two platforms, helping you understand how to leverage the powerful tools that ArcGIS Pro offers. Whether you are a seasoned GIS professional or just beginning your journey with ArcGIS, we will share best practices for your data workflow adaptation that can save you time and effort. Our goal is to equip you with practical insights and tips to maximize the benefits of ArcGIS Pro, ensuring that you feel confident and prepared as you navigate this transition. And remember, we will have a Q&A session at the end, so don't hesitate to just jot down any questions you may have along the way. So again, thank you for joining us, and let's get started to unlock the full potential of ArcGIS Pro. I know.
Thank you, Camicia, and good day to all. I want to echo my welcome to you, our viewers of this webinar, of this October webinar, or the September webinar, rather. That is the ninth in our series. September, this is the ninth in our series of webinars for the year 2024, entitled Creating a Pathway for ArcGIS Desktop to ArcGIS Pro Migration. Part one of this presentation, this is the second of two entries. Part one was done in the first quarter of this year, 2024, entitled Migrating from ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro. This first entry, for those of you who were present, provided you, our viewers, with a migration checklist so that your customers can have some knowledge of the terminologies of ArcGIS Pro when crossing over from ArcMap, ArcGIS Pro system requirements, what are your hardware requirements that you may need to make the transition. And also those of you who may have concerns about work that you would have already done in ArcMap, your MXD file, and how to get that transferred over. And I would have explained at that time that it's possible to import MXD files in ArcGIS Pro project. But just in case some of you here may have missed that webinar, be assured that we have you covered, because you can get access to this webinar that was done earlier this year, migrating from ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro, and others through our Spatial Innovation YouTube channel. So that's our YouTube channel, Spatial Innovation. This second entry, however, unlike the first, will not focus on a migration plan as I would have covered in first quarter, but rather a pathway to migrating from ArcGIS Pro, and I will explain just what this means momentarily. So the migration that we're speaking of really is migrating to ArcGIS Pro, which is now a part of what Esri called the user type licenses. So the migration really is from ArcGIS Desktop, as I would have mentioned in first quarter, that there's a limited window that customers have with ArcMap because of the retirement of ArcMap, and the support that will be provided by Esri is in retirement. Because of this retirement, we want to prepare our customers ahead of time so that you'll have access to whatever resources that we have to get you comfortable with the user type license and ArcGIS Pro application added to these user types to get you going and working without any problems. As I mentioned earlier, the particular migration that I'm speaking about is referring to migration from ArcGIS Desktop, which soon will be discontinued, to ArcGIS user types, where ESRI's, that's the Environmental Systems Research Institute developments, are going to be taking place. ArcGIS user types provide role-based licensing, and I'm describing what these are, that enables users to securely access GIS capabilities through apps and services from anywhere on any device. User types are the primary way users license and access ArcGIS capabilities and the systems that customers implement using ArcGIS. And of course, there are 6 user types, each of which are defined by its capabilities and include an increasing number of capabilities, that is, and access to myriads of apps and services. And I will show you each momentarily, each user type and all the capabilities that comes with these roles for the user types. All right, so on the screen are the user types, ArcGIS user types. And it goes from the viewer, which is the lower tier of user types, to the higher tier, which is the professional plus. And of course, as you can see, there are added capabilities as you go up to a higher level of the user type. But let's start with, so let us start, that is, with the lower tier of user type. And this is the viewer user type. And this allows our users to view data spatially. Users can securely view maps, apps, and content. So that is all the services that you will create and publish in your organizational accounts. Viewers can have access just for viewing purposes and to interact with those maps and services or content, that is for short. You'll notice that on the previous user types before these, I'll explain that there are some changes here and differences, but the viewer user type remains. So some remains while some remain, that is, while others will change, as you see here. And these that I'm explaining here are the new user types. Following which you have the contributor, of course, that would have all the access that the viewer has with some added capabilities, including the ability for users to review and edit data. They can, of course, if you have a contributor user type, you can mark up and annotate maps. Additionally, you'll be able to explore and collaborate on shared projects within your organizational accounts. Thirdly, you have the mobile worker, which of course many would have already been familiar with because this was a part of the initial user types prior to this recent development into these 6 that we have here, which is really the user type that of course would also have the contributor capabilities, all the capabilities that you'll find in the contributor, but also would add other capabilities. For example, the ability to receive work assignments and directions, share locations, collect data, and share updates on the go. Further is the creator, which includes everything that you will find, of course, in the mobile worker user type. So what you find as we progress is whatever capabilities is found in the previous tier would be, of course, in the one that follows. This user type also includes capabilities that let users create and share maps and apps. So there are some sharing capabilities from this user type and those that follow. Creators can manage groups, members of the organization, and content within the organization, as well as dispatch and manage mobile workers. Additionally, the creator user type allows users to analyze images, videos, and knowledge graphs. But what you'll find is one of the major developments with these user type is that the ArcGIS Pro application is now added to the creator user type. Initially, those of you who are customers of ArcGIS Creator, you'll find that there was only ArcGIS Online access button. But now what you'll have is access to ArcGIS Pro at this Creator user type. So it's similar to what you would know as ArcGIS Pro Basic, but ArcGIS Pro Basic now is really changed over to Creator to add the capabilities to the Creator user type. The professional user type includes, of course, all the capabilities that you'll find in the Creator user type. This user type also includes the necessary tools to perform advanced data editing and manage databases. They get to create, and that is your customers get to create and configure utility networks and parcel fabrics. The professional user type, of course, is equivalent to what you would have in your current organizational accounts as the ArcGIS Pro standard. So this, of course, is changed over to what is called the ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Professional. The final user type at the highest tier, and of course, the other major development in user types is the Professional Plus, and I'll mention what I mean by the major development momentarily. And this, of course, includes all the capabilities that we've seen so far up to the professional level. And added to this, of course, is the capabilities users would need to create production-ready cartography. Additionally, of course, users using the Professional Plus will gain the ability to leverage ArcGIS capabilities such as machine learning and deep learning models, as well as process and analyze imagery. The Professional Plus user type includes access to ArcGIS Pro Advanced. So this, of course, is similar to what you would have already have as ArcGIS Desktop Advanced, is now changed over, converted to what we call ArcGIS Professional Plus. But what I want to announce to your customers is what I mentioned as a major development in this Professional Plus. If you remember, those of you who are users of ArcGIS Desktop, Advanced, Standard, or Basic, you would always have to purchase the extensions separately that you would need to go along with these licenses. I want to announce to you today that with the Professional Plus user type, you will get all the desktop extensions that you will be used to getting within this user type. So your 3D analyst, your spatial analyst, your geostatistical analyst, your image analyst. Once you have the Professional Plus user type, you will not need to purchase those extensions separately because they are already included in this user type package. So some of you have the questions. We've been working with ArcGIS Desktop so long. Why is Esri making all of these changes? And change, though inevitable, of course, we must admit is not comfortable because you'll have to migrate to something else that is new. And of course, it takes a learning curve and you may be worried. But I want you to know that this change, of course, is really because today ArcGIS has evolved to hundreds of different products and solutions. As you can see in the graphic on this slide, there are myriads of apps, and it's not exhaustive to what you're seeing on the screen. Our customers and partners can get overwhelmed and trying to keep up with all that is available. And so what the Environmental Systems Research Institute has done is to provide these user types, and within each user type, we'll put apps within each that would be needed by the user. So without bombarding the user with myriads of apps that they don't need, Esri has now regulated and assigned different apps to different user types. So your customers can have the flexibility of choosing what you need based on the role that you are in your organization. The way that this will accomplish, as I mentioned, is to position ArcGIS as a comprehensive geospatial technology platform upon which different systems are implemented and operated with access granted through user types. Another reason for the change is that we want to expose your customers to ArcGIS as an enterprise-ready platform. What Esrit is doing today is focusing on a business industry-focused system. Therefore, ArcGIS is being positioned as I mentioned, as an enterprise-ready platform. On top of that enterprise-ready platform, Esri is really designing, implementing, and operating different business systems. And the way we are accessing the systems are through these user types. You, our customers, have the flexibility then to choose. And that's choose how you really want to deploy these systems, whether you want to do this in a SaaS environment, that's software as a service, whether you want to do this in a PaaS environment, or in a Kubernetes environment, or just in a traditional software environment. Now, all the systems are supported and evolving at the same time. And what do I mean by ArcGIS as a system? It is common to see really organizations investing in multiple business systems, right? So for example, you're seeing a system here with different parts, parcel management system, planning and development system, public engagement. There are different things that you may want to do, and all are interconnected, especially if you're in government, you're having persons in the field and you're having persons editing in the office, and then you'd want to share those resources that you would have created within services that you have created within your organization based on permission levels. And so it is really common to see these organizations investing in these multiple business systems and interconnected systems. Let's take, for example, the case of a local government agency. Some of you are government customers joining from government. You may have a parcel management system if you're from the land management professions, a public engagement system, a field operations system, etc., based on what you're seeing on the slide. Some of those systems are implemented in an isolated way. However, what we find is that most of your customers are having these systems interconnected in your organizations and building really a system of systems. And so that's why we're making these, that's why Esri has made these changes to meet the needs of our customers. Why the changes? So to return to the question asked earlier, why the changes? The changes are done for simplicity. Also, ArcGIS is being positioned as a business-first oriented platform. Finally, ArcGIS is an enterprise-ready platform, as I would have mentioned. This way, the technology can be a business solution for you or valued customers. The user types. And as I would have mentioned, you want to match the way your team works. You want to assign based on whatever role the user plays within your organization, and assign privileges and permissions based on those roles, and not bombard them with applications that may not be needed at their levels. And we're still discussing the matter of why the changes. The user types provide an easy way to access and to work with different ArcGIS capabilities, apps, extensions, and content. The idea is that the administrators of the accounts, that's your organizational accounts for ArcGIS, can manage those licenses in a very easy way, really. Therefore, what administrators can do then is just assign the right user types to users, to the right persons, that is, based on each person's workflow needs. And adding these user types should really be an easy process under this user type development, whether the administrator is managing a very small GIS department or organization, large GIS enterprise implementation. And the idea is that they can support when those things are growing. Also, they can add different user types to specialists, to field workers, to executives, based on the roles. Of course, we're saying that a specialist would get a particular user type based on their workflow needs. A field worker, of course, would not need the capabilities available in a GIS specialist, available to a GIS specialist, but would need more capabilities, of course, than those who work as executives who may just want to view what is being created and what is being done within the account as stakeholders. With a single click then, everyone within the organization with the right user type that can basically have the right user type that will provide the person the right kind of access to all those capabilities, apps, extensions, and data that the person is going to really need. So let's look at the update. Of course, those of you who would have already been working that is partnered with user types, you'll realize that in 2023, that is, you were doing the viewer, editor, mobile worker, creator, GIS Professional Basic, GIS Professional Standard, and GIS Professional Advanced. And you'll find that the viewer has now been substituted with the contributor. That's one of the development. And the creator now, you'll find that it's the GIS Professional Basic, the capabilities of the GIS Professional Basic and the creator is just migrated and merged into what is just called the creator with that ArcGIS Pro Basic access. And then the professional standard is now just the professional, and then the professional advanced is just now the professional plus. Under the professional advanced, you did not have the extensions, as I would have mentioned: image analyst, spatial analyst, 3D analyst, geostatistical analyst, tracking analyst, etc. But now under the professional plus, all of these extensions, of course, come with this package. User type update continued assigning capabilities to roles. Now we have 6 main user types. And within those user types, there are different capabilities. There are different apps, there are different extensions, and there are different data. And depending on your role and workflow needs, there is a user type for you. Now, how can we help you to migrate to these user types? How can we help you to migrate to these user types? Yes, you may be wondering, because you may be saying, with all these changes, how are we going to get this done? Well, this webinar, of course, and those that would have been done by my colleagues previously surrounding the topic of user types, is us really starting the process of helping you. And those of you who would have contacted us and reached out to us and communicate with us, you would have realized that we would have already been starting that conversation. That is the first step to getting you ready and to getting you comfortable to use the user types, and especially the ArcGIS Pro application, because of the imminent retirement of ArcGIS Desktop and the retirement of ArcMap. So engaging with your customers through webinars to expose the migration options. And so this is our way of helping and assisting for an ease and comfortable transition. We also inform your customers of the value of migrating. We use our webinars and other customer engagements to expose your customer base to user types and their benefits of delivering access to rich capabilities provided by ArcGIS, while giving users the flexibility to access those capabilities where they are needed, whether over the web, on the desktop, or through a mobile device. We also want to assist you in right-sizing licensing. And by this, I mean, we can help you or customers understand the types of user types needed, whether ArcGIS Pro or non-ArcGIS Pro licenses, depending on the role and workflow needs of each user in your organizational accounts. Let's discuss the migration pathway, and the simplest one is really that I want to discuss is really those of you who are ArcGIS Desktop customers who are already using the subscription. So there is the ArcGIS Desktop term and the ArcGIS perpetual licenses. I will touch on how what the migration would look like for the perpetual licenses momentarily, but I want to deal with the easiest and lowest end of the migration process, and this is because this one is a term license. So the ArcGIS Desktop Basic Term License, Standard Term, and Advanced Term, of course, those have been translated into what we have here as the Creator user type, Professional user type, and Professional Plus user type, respectively. So the ArcGIS Desktop Basic becomes the Creator user type. The ArcGIS Desktop Standard becomes the Professional user type, and the ArcGIS Desktop Advanced become the Professional Plus user type. This is of course, as I mentioned, for the ArcGIS Desktop annual subscription. Now, some of our customers may notice a difference in our maintenance proposals that we send out to you if you have received a proposal from us after June 30, 2024. The last day that customers could renew an ArcGIS Desktop annual subscription licenses was June 30, 2024. The graphic on the slide, of course, as I would have gone through it, really demonstrate this as our customers are now being introduced in our maintenance program to the user types. Based on the slide, as I would have mentioned, the 3 levels of desktop, that is the basic, standard, and advanced, are now updated to user types. The ArcGIS Desktop Basic, as I mentioned, becomes the Creator. The ArcGIS Desktop Standard becomes the Professional user type, and the ArcGIS Desktop Advanced becomes the Professional Plus user type. This is a simple demonstration of the migration pathway. Please note that this is not simply a change in a product, but we want to provide your customers with user type access that is based on your roles and workflow needs so that you can access the right capabilities, apps, extensions, and data. So let's look at the maintenance pathway, ArcGIS maintenance pathway, because some of you are maintenance customers, you have been customers of ArcGIS for a while, and you are on the maintenance program renewing your licenses annually, and you want to know what is this going to look like for my renewal. Let's discuss first the migration from ArcGIS Desktop single-use licenses. There are 3 options for the migration. That's the early migration offer, migrate at the end of the license term, and migrate to ArcGIS Pro standalone. And I want to, of course, highlight firstly the early migration offer because of the benefit, of course, the great benefit to you, our customers. And this is really for customers that before March 26, 2024, choose to migrate to the new user type. And you still have the option right now to do so if you call us or send us an email that you'd love to make the transition from now. And I'll just explain what it is to you. So customers will receive the user type at no cost until the end of the maintenance period. And I want to explain what I mean by this. When you reach out to us and let's say your maintenance, the renewal of your license is not due until, let's say, December 1st, 2024. But you want to say, okay, I want to make the transition from now, even though I'm not at the end of the maintenance term. I don't want to wait until I'm going to go into a new term for the transition to automatically be applied. Now, if you make the transition now, of course, you'll have all the benefits of the user type, and this will be at no cost to you, the customer. You're current on maintenance. Your maintenance has not yet expired, and ready to be renewed, and you want to move to user types from now, you can always contact us and indicate your interest, and we can migrate you comfortably and with ease without a cost. You can also migrate. So the second option is to migrate when Spatial Innovation Limited sends a maintenance proposal for the renewal term. So this is going to be an automatic migration. So at this time, when you receive the proposals from us, and those of you who have been receiving proposals from July 1, you'd have noticed a change in the licenses and what it looks like. And some of you would have pointed that out. What's the reason for the change? And this is really because Esri is really moving from ArcGIS Desktop to these user types. And so you'll have all the capabilities that you had under ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online, as that's where the development is really going by Esri, and because of the impending retirement of ArcGIS Desktop and ArcMap. All right. So there is a final migration that I want to discuss, and this is not a very popular migration, but just want to mention it nonetheless. So this one is called migrating to ArcGIS Pro standalone. So customers can migrate to a new product. So you're already a user of ArcGIS Desktop single use, and you want to migrate to just using ArcGIS Pro standalone. What ArcGIS Pro standalone is, it is a perpetual license of ArcGIS Pro. This product, however, I want to point out that it is not connected with the ArcGIS system, meaning it doesn't have an entitlement or a user type. Therefore, it is only for working in the ArcGIS Pro environment and will not be able to connect to ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise because it doesn't have a user type. The other offers before, of course, the user types, you can always migrate and still have your ArcGIS Pro connected to your ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. But this one, as some customers may need it, that option is available for them as well. All right, so the term license, as I described, so I talked about the term license before, and you see a similarity here. And the migration from the desktop single-use licensing will look like this graph that you're seeing on screen. So you'll be moving from the ArcGIS Desktop Basic to the Creator user type. And of course, this Creator user type now would have access to the basic ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online, of course. And then or if you're connected to ArcGIS Enterprise. And then the ArcGIS Desktop Standard becomes the professional user type with the ArcGIS Pro Standard. And then finally, the ArcGIS Desktop Advanced becomes the ArcGIS Professional Plus user type with the ArcGIS Pro Advanced, and of course, the addition of the extensions of ArcGIS Pro as well. As I would have mentioned, the Pro standalone, because I want to explain why that option is there. It's really, as I mentioned, not connected to the ArcGIS system. It doesn't have an entitlement. It doesn't have a user type, but it's only solely for the purpose of just working in ArcGIS Pro alone. So for the customers that don't have interest, or users that don't have interest in moving to the new user types, you have this option of moving to the Pro standalone. This is not a favored option, as I would have mentioned earlier, because it is not connected to the ArcGIS system, meaning, of course, it doesn't have a user type, doesn't have an entitlement. So it's not connected to ArcGIS Online, and it's not connected to ArcGIS Enterprise. However, this kind of license exists, of course, for users, for clients who might need it for whatever reason. Let's take, for example, military customers. Military customers who may be in an environment with no internet connection and may need to keep a perpetual license for whatever reason. That option is available for them. Now, I've dealt with the single use, migrating from desktop single use, but I also want to deal quickly with migrating from ArcGIS Desktop concurrent use licensing for those who have that kind of access or that kind of license type, what this would look like. So there are similarities with the, of course, single use transition to the user types as there are with the concurrent use transition to the user types. But of course, with some additional some differences. So there's still a migration offer, early migration offer available. If you reach out to us and say, you know what, my maintenance term is not completed, but I want to make that transition from now. Or that transition will be automatically made for you at the end of the license term. So when you are ready to renew that, it would automatically be done. Or as I would have mentioned for the single use, also for the concurrent use, you can migrate to the ArcGIS Pro standalone. Now I want you to listen carefully because there are some additional things to mention about this kind of migration on the concurrent side. So for customers looking to migrate early, has a couple of choices. You will be able to convert each of the concurrent use licenses to 3 user types. And if, of course, if you miss any of this, this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So you can always go and interact with this webinar to get this information again. So you'll be able to convert the concurrent use licenses to 3 user types. That is, you can convert one concurrent license into 1 user type, or one concurrent use license into 2 user types, or one concurrent use license into 3 user types. So you have the options. You can get up to 3 if you so desire. But the one rule that I want to mention is that at least one of the user type must be equivalent to or higher than the level you have now. For example, if you have one ArcGIS Desktop Advanced concurrent use, you can convert to 1 Professional Plus, that's the equivalent, or 2 Professional Plus, or 3 Professional Plus. So you have to convert to the equivalent level. Or you could do a mixture and say, I want 1 Professional Plus. That's when you reach out to us, you can just make that specification, which is equivalent to the ArcGIS Desktop standard. That's what it's migrating from. A Professional, which is equivalent to the standard. That's what it's migrating from. And the other could be a creator. So you could get 3 and mix them with the creator, which would have been prior the basic ArcGIS Desktop. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can play with whatever user type you need, but at least one must be at the same level of the equivalent user type from which you are transitioning, right? Because you are transitioning early, before the expiration of the maintenance period, I want to echo once again, this transition is at no cost to you, the customer. You will then, of course, at the end of the maintenance period, be quoted for the new user type. So when we send you a proposal, so right now as it is, you make the transition without a cost. Secondly, of course, is migrating at the end of the license term. And this, of course, is done automatically when that renewal is ready to be done. And as under the single use transition, and then the option to migrate to the Pro standalone, which is the perpetual license of ArcGIS Pro. And of course, I mentioned it's not connected to the ArcGIS system and doesn't have an entitlement or user type, that is. All right, some key dates to note. So these user types were updated released in June of 2024, right? And it's supported in ArcGIS Online. And what Where we are now is the fact that ArcGIS Desktop is no longer available for new customers or for those doing renewals. And so where we are now is basically these user types. And we're hoping that you will make the transition as early as possible by reaching out to us, and we're able, willing and ready to make that migration process very easy and comfortable for your customers, and take whatever questions you may have during that process. By November of 24, these will be available in your ArcGIS Enterprise. Right now, as it is right now, they are available in ArcGIS Online, but by November 2024, they will be available in your ArcGIS Enterprise as well. And of course, ArcGIS Desktop in March of 2026 enters its retirement status. And that's why we're trying from early to get all our customers on the migration plan. All right, so you're not ready to transition to user types. You may have questions. You're saying that I don't have the ability to do so right now, and I would need some help. Let us help you really. And our way of helping you is through one, instructor-led training. We offer training, instructor-led, that can help you get comfortable with ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Online. And some of our courses that we offer, of course, are Introduction to GIS using ArcGIS, ArcGIS Pro Essential Workflows, which is the part 2 of, or the advanced to the introductory course. And if you're already users of ArcGIS Desktop and just looking to make the transition, you're very comfortable and have the expertise in ArcMap already, and you are cognizant from the webinar that it's in retirement, so you want to go to whatever is equivalent, that is ArcGIS Pro. We have a course called Migrating from ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro for those kind of users, rather that you're already using ArcMap and you're very comfortable with it and you just want to make a transition. Migrating from ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro is the course for you, and that is also offered by Spatial Innovision Limited. We want you to have the assurance that our trainers are Esri certified, and we have resources to get you, of course, comfortable with this migration through the Esri Academy. And if you look on the screen, you can see, of course, there's a link there that takes you to that. So I'm hoping quickly, as I close this presentation, to just walk you through once you explore the link. Okay, so once you explore the link, it takes you to Esri Academy. And there are options there. It's very easy to use based on the product that you need, of course. Training in, you can select it. Of course, we'd select something like ArcGIS Pro. But because I already know the course code, I can just put in GIS, or you can just search simply for ArcGIS Pro and the courses come up. But this particular course called Introduction to GIS using ArcGIS that I want to quickly search for. And once you search for that, it takes you to the course. It tells you it's a 2-day course. And of course, we offer that course as well at Spatial Innovision Limited. And you can read up about what the course is about, discover the power of spatial, learn fundamental concepts that underlie GIS technology and geographic data. In this course, you will gain experience using GIS maps to visualize and explore real-world features, analyze data to answer questions and create new information, and share maps, data, and other resources so they can be easily accessed throughout your organization. Of course, you have the option of looking at the introduction of the course through this video, and of course, looking at the table of contents to see if this is the course that you are looking for based on your capabilities, needs, whatever capacity that you want to develop. There is also So you can just type in the search, migrating from ArcMap to ArcGIS Pro, as I would have mentioned. It's a 2D instructor-led course, and it's for those who are looking to make the transition. So with faster tools and integrated 2D and 3D capabilities, ArcGIS Pro will streamline your projects. This course prepares experienced ArcMap users to be productive right away, learn essential ArcGIS Pro terminology and concepts, and how to efficiently complete a variety of tasks relating to mapping, editing, analyzing, and sharing geospatial data and resources. And of course, you can interact with the table of contents to see what are the course contents. Additionally, there are some courses that, besides the instructor-led courses, if you are current on maintenance, you can always filter by courses that, if you're on maintenance, you can get those courses and it will bring up those courses that will be available based on maintenance. And you can see some courses there. You can also go to products and just to specify the courses that you are specifically looking for are those that are ArcGIS Pro related, and it brings up those courses that will be available to you by virtue of being current with on the maintenance program. There are also some free courses that you can also take on. You may not be on maintenance, but you may want practice. You may want to learn more about GIS. You can click here and also filter by the products to choose the course that is right for you. So please interact in your spare time. Thank you for joining, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us for this webinar. And I do hope and trust, of course, that it was informative, inspiring, and you will be inspired and ignited to move at once to get this migration going and to get comfortable working with the user types. I have on screen some contacts that you may reach out to help with this migration process and with the training needs that you may have. That's Mr. Roshan Clark, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, and that's his email. Miss Natalie Dobbs, Solutions Engineer, and of course myself, Lionel Grant, Solutions Engineer, and that's our contacts. So you can reach out and we'll help you migrate comfortably, that is, and get whatever training that you may need. I'm going to, at this time, take your questions and hand over back to Miss Blackwood.
Thank you so much, Lionel. So before we end today's session, are there any questions that you guys might have for Lionel? Anything that you'd want him to clarify at this moment? You can just send them in the chat or utilize the Q&A functionality. Any questions? No questions? Several questions? Zero questions? Okay. So thank you all for joining us today for this insightful webinar. And we've explored the key differences between the platforms and the best practices as it relates to adapting your data and workflow. So as we wrap up, I encourage you guys to take what you've learned today and apply it to your own GIS projects. And remember that transitioning to a new platform can be daunting, but with the right strategies and resources, it can also be rewarding and an opportunity for growth and innovation in your work. So thank you again for participating, and we look forward to seeing you in our future sessions. Oh, we have a question. Let's see. Okay, so I'm seeing that Mr. Julian Hughes, I apologize if that's not a mister, has a question, but he hasn't put it yet. Could you type the questions for us to see? So Lionel, the questions that we have here is, are the mobile worker contributor and viewer.
All right, so the mobile worker, contributor, and viewer are individual licenses. Those, of course, are separate. The viewer is a different kind of access, as I mentioned, just to look at the products and services that you would create in the organizational account for the purpose of viewing. It's a single separate user type. And the contributor, of course, is a different and higher user type that allows you to do your editing. While the mobile worker is also different, which allows you to do, which is really for those who are going out into the field that of course would then have access not only to view and edit, but whatever the capabilities that would come with a mobile work, additional capabilities to make edits, and so would also be collect data, upload data would also be a part of the mobile worker. So there are three different capabilities, but three different user types. I want to say individual licenses, as you rightly have here, or we could say user type licenses. But as you go from viewer to mobile worker, you're moving from a lower user type to a higher user type, and so the capabilities would increase. Separate licenses, different. Thank you for the question.
So we're just going to open the floor again for maybe 2 minutes, just in case anyone else has any other questions. Don't be shy. Lionel is here to guide you through as best as he can. Okay, everyone. So just bear in mind that this webinar will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you go through the rerun and realize that you have a few questions, you could always reach out to the content on the screen or leave a comment below and we'll facilitate you getting the answers that you need. So again, thank you for joining us and I look forward to seeing you at our next installation in this webinar series.